Hello, good morning and welcome to the AM Sports with me, Oreku Ampofo. We start off with our build-up to the special boxing documentary titled The Boxing Loan, and we hear from former Sports Minister His Excellency Amarkia Amartefio as he reviews that D.K Poison actually won the bout in the dressing room ahead of his WBC title triumph over Ruben Olivares in 1975.
It was huge. It was momentous. To have this ultimate realization of a world champion not created politically outside the ring, but inside the ring. Incidentally, D.K Poison's hand was not raised in the ring.
Tell me about that bit as well.
His hand was raised as champion in the dressing room.
Why?
Now, D.K Poison, like Azuma Nelson, defeated a Mexican hero. He was invincible up to that time. He was really iconic. He was big. So, defeating him in Los Angeles, full of Mexicans and Latinos, the arena was full of them, was not acceptable to the fans. So they rioted. They threw chairs, you know, they couldn't accept it. So in the confusion, D.K Poison had to be taken out of the ring. The police intervened. Atukwe Clotte, the coach at that time, was hit on the head. And we believe that eventually that led to his...
Hit on the head
with a chair.
With a chair?
Yes, with a chair.
From boxing, let's turn our attentions to football, and still on the local scene. Accra Hearts of Oak, we know, have already lost Joseph Esso, and reports suggest that they are on the brink of losing Kofi Kojo. But the club has come out to say that they have not received any offer for their striker yet.
The Hearts of Oak striker reportedly got a deal from Qatar that was worth $200,000. However, the Phobia leadership decided to reject the offer, according to media reports. Communications director of the club, Kwame Opare-Addo, has been explaining to Joy Sports about the details of the offer that came in for the striker.
A club from Qatar sent an expressed interest in our player Kofi Kojo, right? And then in that interest that they sent to us, there was nothing like we want to pay 1 cedi, 2 cedi, 3 cedi, and 4 cedis. So we got back to them that, look, if you want to have Kofi Kojo to join your team, these are the things that we think that if you are able to do, we'll be able to release the player to you. So we sent out to them that we have two options. You pay $150,000 plus 30% or more transfer, or you pay $200,000 plus 20% or more transfer. So you decide which one you want. And some people have decided to make noise about it. You and I, if you have your RAM, whatever, in the house that somebody comes to buy it, and that individual says that, look, I want this, would you just say that, okay, take it away, without negotiating?
The media have claimed that Kofi Kojo have asked the leadership of Accra Hearts of Oak to permit him to depart from the club. Kwame Opare says the club will not prevent any player from moving on if he so desires.
When this offer came in, we didn't keep it away from the player. Through the, with the instructions of the CEO, I called the player, came to the office, he met the CEO. The CEO told him that this is the offer that you have, but we are discussing with them. We want the good for you, your player, and the best for the club as well. So once we arrive at a logical conclusion, why would we keep you? We will not.
Oftentimes, you would expect the club that is showing interest to make an offer for you to counter offer. At this point, you're telling us that they did not express interest in paying 1 cedi or 2 cedi, but you rather decided to tell them what to do.
Yes. Let me put it this way. When they brought their letter, right, there were no financial terms in it. They followed up with verbal submission of the price they want to give, and that's not the way for us to go. If you follow anything verbal with us, we don't see that as coming from a professional club. You need to put it on paper, make it very official, then we can also respond to it.
Verbal of how much?
Verbal of that, I think 150, 120, 150. I have to be very sure about that.
Kofi Kojo joined Accra Hearts of Oak prior to the start of the 2019-2020 Ghana Premier League season and scored 5 goals for the Phobians.
We still stay on the local scene, and this time we hear from former Sports Minister Antwi Vanderpuye, who has come out to back his party NDC, stating that choosing to make so many promises concerning sports does make a lot of sense because there are the numbers in sports and that gives an opportunity to boost the economy.
The NDC, during the launch of their manifesto for the 2020 general elections, announced a plethora of promises they intend to fulfill if they are given the mandate to govern the country for the next 4 years. Many have questioned how the party intends to honor these promises, but Antwi Vanderpuye, who was the sports minister under the NDC in 2016, spoke to Joy Sports about what the party considered before drawing the manifesto.
The fact that sports at this particular time in the world has become a very huge industry, and as such, if our manifesto is hinged on creating jobs, prosperity, and also inclusiveness, then it's important that we look at a sports policy and sports programs that will open opportunities for people to be employed, that will create jobs, that will also prosper people and let those who are involved in sports benefit from the sports, and also try and see that all people who are supposed to be in sports and who are in sports are given opportunity to benefit from the infrastructure and the development of the sports we have, and that not that we have sports exclusively for some people and then get some people off.
A notable policy in the manifesto was the development of a sports fund. Antwi Vanderpuye explained how the policy will be implemented.
Well, the sports fund is very feasible. It's been in almost all our manifesto since 2012. But you know, over the period, lack of resources, let me say the mainstream resource opportunity for the ministry has been the budget. And because we have been so national budget dependent, it was always difficult for us to be able to embark upon certain things that we envisage under the sports fund. But this time, with a big push, a lot of resources will be available for us to be able to support the institutionalization of the sports fund and so be able to cater for it. The sports fund is principally aimed at providing resources and making funds available for all the sporting associations apart from football to be able to embark upon their programs and activities for a year, and also make resources available for the payment of allowances and support and welfare packages for sportsmen and women, and also those people who are involved in the development.
The NDC has plans of completing the new Edubiasi Stadium and also lead a successful organization of the 2023 All-African Games.